Mr. Chairman.
Public Works.
Thank you. I'm fine. We had 5 call-outs last month, resulting in 66 overtime hours. 63 of those overtime hours were for fallen trees, which was a result of storm-related damage. Currently, we're working at Laurel Hill, reconstructing that road, establishing edge of road, and repaving out there. We've been out there for the past 2 weeks and expect to complete that work this coming week. Everybody seems to be pretty pleased with the work that's going on out there. I have a couple of personnel matters that I understand that we'll table for this evening. My summer help, his last day was last Friday, and he'd like to hear success stories. He landed a teaching position down in North Carolina, and Mike Kaufman has been with us for several years now, has done wonderful work in the park, and I'm sorry to see him leave. We have a lot of season left over, and I still need to replace this individual, so we'll work on maybe trying to find someone else to replace Mike. That's all I have for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Next is the engineer's report. Dan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Under my report, I'll just highlight some of the issues of the development side of things. They finished up some paving over Ironwood in this past month, so that plan, effectively, the first phase is all paved. The reserve at South Point, they're getting ready to actually pave Reserve Drive. The first wearing course out there, we met with them, and they're going to get that work moving. In addition, I did speak to the superintendent over there today, and we discussed and he outlined the schedule for doing some of the work at Clear Park that they owe us as a part of that development. I anticipate that work occurring during the next month and a half. They'll get the parking lot installed over there. They're going to move some topsoil, bring in some rock material to address some of the drainage issues out there. So that's going to be moving along here fairly quickly. Finally got a call from Joe DiNardo related to Timber Run Phase 3. He's going to have T.A. Robinson in to do some of the paving there this fall to final that plan out. So hopefully we'll final that plan out and possibly some work in Phase 4. We already talked about Windsor Woods. Cool Valley, just a brief report that there was a meeting with PennDOT. Mike Haberman, our traffic engineer, attended that meeting with PennDOT. Apparently the developer's traffic engineer missed some issues related to the turnpike connection that's going to occur and how it's going to affect this project. So they're going to go back and rework the traffic study again, and that's really where the project stands at this point. There's no concrete plans or anything other than they're still working on all the traffic issues over there.
Dan, the authority had some plans to do something on the part of that property that's on the north, I guess the north or west side of that.
Yes.
Is that, in moving with that?
I don't know. I'll defer to Bruce. Bruce hears more about the stuff that's happening. I haven't seen or heard anything on that one lately.
I haven't heard of anything at this point.
Yeah, there's no application in or anything. And moving along with my report, there's an agenda item to close out the Coleman Road, the emergency work on the wall there tonight. And really the only other issue that needs attention is the paving projects. There's 2 estimates in for paving tonight. And actually Joe is here tonight, Joe Seitz from our office, who's managing the project, just to talk about possibly adding on. I know Anger Road is on the agenda, but that's primarily why he's here tonight to discuss if the board wants to add that work onto Youngwood's contract for Anger Road. And I think other than that, the paving project's complete for the most part. And we talked about the Fawcett Church drainage study. And the only final thing is that we did some work, some quick work to give PennDOT some information so that they could work on the O'Hara Road, that signal issue, the warning signal issue out there. So we provided the base plan to PennDOT, and I guess they're in the process of doing some design on that now. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Dan. I had one question for you there, too. I had a resident talk to me about up on Timber Run. whenever we do the final paving up there, I think it's Wind Dance that goes all the way up to the other side. Was there a speed bump or two that we
Yes.
talked about that needs to be installed in there?
That's within
That's still-
phase 4.
It's
Yes,
still on the agenda, though, correct?
absolutely, that'll be done with the final learning course, the final 2 courses that they put
I
on.
know they're still working on it right
Yep.
now, but I was asking a question, I remember we talked about it.
Yeah, that's a long road.
It's still in the works whenever
Yes.
it's finally finished. Okay, any other questions?
I have a question, Dan, under number 8, the Muse Storm Sewer, and on the under the Elm Street Bridge. Did you and Bill have a chance to discuss whether Public Works is able to do it?
I have not had a chance to look at it.
Okay, I know you've been very busy and are very busy. Is this something that we can get to either with Public Works or without Public Works this season? Dan?
I don't want to speak for Bill. As soon as Bill gets a look at it, I would say that either Bill's guys can do it, or contractually, it's probably under the bid limit of anything that you would do. So we could just get the board to authorize it and just go out and, I don't want to.
That's basically repair work on the
Yes.
web at that wide flange beam underneath,
That's
correct?
correct.
Now, is it just the one on the end when I was looking in your report? Is there any back further under?
No, it was just the outside ones, Andy.
Is there, I know what you were showing us on the drawings, is there enough metal there to weld up into to fill it into both sides of the flanges?
So that it can be cleaned up and taken far back enough, you can find good metal well too.
Okay, I'd like to come out when you three
Sure.
go out and do 2 go out and inspect it, we'll go together.
I'll make more.
Are you going to
Thank
take
you.
welding, Andy?
I've done a lot of that before.
I know, that's why I asked you.
I was really curious why I wanted to go out and take a look at it. Is there any other questions?
No.